Where do we begin? Oh, we're sponsored by, well, A Man Can Dream.
A Man Can Dream,
Wow,
but we're moving on to the second round against the Battle of Alberta. Let's go!
Hey, Bruce, there it is. Bruce, there it was.
At least it wasn't Adam Fox.
What?
Weird.
Oh yeah, welcome ladies and gentlemen to the Puck and Stuff podcast.
Woo!
We got a lot to talk about. B-Duck, how you doing today?
I'm doing good today, and I'm feeling better, but holy cow, that was a lot of trades in the last week or two, I would say. A week or two since we've been back and gone, I would say, for trades for sure. Especially talking, because the last trades we talked about was O'Reilly and Tarasenko, and that was, like, I would say a week or two ago still. And since then, the hockey world just literally imploded, except on trade deadline day, because that was just sad to watch.
Yeah, today was a snooze fest. Everything happened before the week, but honestly, it was a great little way to get hyped and then just to have nothing today. But hey, what the heck? So much happened, so many trades. I'm excited to talk about it. But anyways, today's episode is sponsored by, well, the Bank of Minnesota. We retain salary at a 25% rate. Nah, it's a man can dream.
A man can dream.
But as you know, as we talk about the Minnesota Wild here retaining so much cap, you know, Arizona does the same thing with that dead cap as well. Let's just get into the trades. So what I kind of thought to start off with for this episode, since it is all about the trade deadline, I'm going to legitimately list off every single trade that I can see on Cap Friendly. Shout out to them.
Shout out.
And we're going to do a quick thing. We're going to say it. We're going to say who we think wins. And then go on from there, and then we'll go into some detail on the more important trades, the bigger trades that actually have a lot of impact. First trade, all right, the Minnesota Wild. No, it's not the Wild. The Washington Capitals. They get from the Boston Bruins Craig Smith, a 2023 first-round pick, 2024 third-round pick, and a 2025 second-round pick. And for Minnesota, they get Andrei Svetlakov. Not Sveshnikov, Svetlakov. In return, the Bruins require Garnet Hathaway and Dmitry Orlov. Pretty good. Minnesota, they retain Orlov at 50% and a 2023 fifth-round pick. Who do you think wins?
Honestly, out of everyone, it's Boston. They're
Boston.
Obviously loading up for playoffs, going for that deep run, but you got to give some credit to Washington. That is quite a haul to get for just Orlov and Halfway alone. Your biggest loser is the Wild retaining so much cap. You?
Yep, same thing. You already see it. Orlov has, I think, 7 points in like 3-4 games, something like that. Some crazy stuff. Hathaway is great. You got some more physical presence. Perfect for the playoffs. Just saying. All right, Boston again is back in it. They get Shane Bowers from the Avalanche, and they require a goaltender in Keith Kincaid. I think Avs win this. I mean, they get a little bit of extra goaltending help. Kincaid can play well when he's called upon.
Honestly, I can't disagree. I think Colorado is also loading up their goaltending because they have a little bit of issues with that. But hey, I can't complain. Yeah, they take the dub. What's next?
All right. Rangers acquire William Lockwood in the 2026 7th-round pick in exchange for the Canucks' Vitaly Kravtsov. I think the Canucks win this. I don't think Kravtsov, being at the 875K range, not too much risk to it, but I think that he may be able to shine a little bit more under the Vancouver connection.
I think, honestly, you're in the right point. Kravtsov he's a young player. Obviously, the cap dump doesn't even hurt New York or Vancouver in the sense, but yeah, easy win for Vancouver. Great player to add, right?
For sure. Now we get on to Winnipeg. Winnipeg acquires Nino Niederreiter, a $4 million contract in full in exchange for a 2024 second-round pick for Winnipeg. I think Winnipeg's going to win this just because I think Niederreiter will be able to support a little bit with the points. You can tell that Winnipeg right now is struggling with winning some hockey games. I think some added extra assists, even some goals maybe, might be able to help. Had a great start to the season.
Honestly, yeah, I agree as well. It is a bunch of new depth entering the playoffs potentially for Winnipeg. And just another pickup with Niederreiter. Can't complain as Winnipeg gets that pick. Or pickup. Whoops. Anyways.
Yeah, Dallas Stars. They acquire Evgeny Dadonov, 50% retained, in exchange for Denis Gurianov to the Montreal Canadiens. I'm going to say this is a bit of a tie just because I think Dadonov and Gurianov needed to change the scenery, and I think respectively, they'll both be able to just have a little bit of a turnaround with their careers being on different teams.
Honestly, I think I also agree with T-Dog here, as I think both players did need kind of a new change. And yeah, I think it is a pretty much tie. There's no winner or loser here. Both are great players. Next!
All right, Ivan Barbashev goes to the I almost said Minnesota Vikings, the Vegas Golden Knights. In exchange for St. Louis, they get Zach Dean, an AHLer. Barbashev's going to help out on their left wing, especially helps out when they need some extra players when you have a lot of players such as Mark Stone injured. Not saying Mark Stone or Ivan Barbashev is all like Mark Stone, but you get a little bit of experience there.
Honestly, if you're a playoff team, you can't complain about more forward depth, except if you're the Calgary Flames. And honestly, Barbashev is still a great player all around, and honestly, I think he will do very well with Vegas, especially in this coming up playoffs. It is looking scary if you are Vegas for sure. Next!
All right. Chicago. Every time you say that, it reminds me of like the urinating tree videos where like it's a different team and it has like that horn.
Yep.
All right, Chicago. They get Anders England from the Avs, and the Avs require back Jack Johnson at a retained, or not retained, but it's just a $950 contract. You know what? I mean, Chicago gets some young players in their prospect pool, which they need because they're tanking for Bedard. Avalanche, I think they want a little bit of good old nostalgia
Yeah.
exactly for the playoffs. So. We'll see who wins this one. I can't really pick one right now. Maybe we'll say the Avs because maybe Jack Johnson has a little bit of fire to help the Avs repeat.
Guess who's back? Back again. Johnson's back. Tell a friend. Honestly, yeah, I think Colorado does get that nostalgia, having that deft defenseman as Johnson because they won a cup with him. And yeah, it's another deft defenseman. I think Colorado wins. Veteran leadership never hurts in playoffs, especially when he won a cup last year with them.
Not at all.
Oh, that's a big boy.
All right.
Next!
Isaac Ratcliffe to the Nashville Predators in exchange for future considerations. Rest in peace, future considerations going to the Philadelphia Flyers. May Tortorella save your soul. All right. Switch.
Next.
Blackhawks acquire Joey Anderson, Pavel Gogolev, a 2025 first-round pick, which is conditional, a 2026 second-round pick, in exchange for Jake McCabe, Sam Lafferty, 2024 fifth-round pick from Chicago, 2025 fifth-round pick for Chicago. The Leafs, or the other person in this trade. I think Leafs win. McCabe helps out on the bottom pairing of your D-line, and Lafferty also helps in your bottom pairing and in your forward group.
Honestly, Kyle Dubas, you really are pulling your balls out and putting them on the table for this one because I respect it. Still respecting it. You obviously are adding to your defense, and I respect it with Jake McCabe. And yeah, honestly, I think Toronto does win this trade. You did have to give up a little bit much, but again, future picks is not in his worries if he has a job or not. But next!
All right, Riley Stillman goes to the Buffalo Sabres. In exchange, Vancouver gets Josh Bloom. Stillman was a $1.35 million thing. Ty, I mean, you free up $1.3 million. I mean, Vancouver, do you really need to do that? I mean, get picks. Vancouver, just get picks. So I don't understand these other trades that you kind of did. This one, I don't really know what to say. Maybe it helps Buffalo. I'll just say Ty, like you said.
Yeah, I'll say Ty. Nothing much. Next!
All right, Jesse Puljujärvi finally, the Bison King finally leaves Edmonton. Going to the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for Patrick Puistola. So that's an AHL player going back. You know what? I think it works out both ways. Just because Edmonton needs to get that contract out, they free up some cap space to do some other trades, and Puljujärvi gets to try and get his career revamped in a new place. That might really help him.
Yeah, honestly, with such a high draft pick, Jesse Puljujärvi was, honestly, his expectations obviously tanked with being with Edmonton in his career. So a new, kind of a new look with Carolina might change his motives going into this league. Next!
All right. Henry Thrun goes to the San Jose Sharks in exchange, for a 2024 third-round pick to the Anaheim Ducks. You know what? Thrun, signing rights, all that good stuff. Anaheim needs picks, so Anaheim.
Who wins this trade is to be determined, whatever that third-round pick is. Next!
All right. Minnesota Wild acquire Marcus Johansson from the Washington Capitals in exchange for our 2024 third-round pick.
Hold up. They're actually getting players instead of just retaining salary? Hold the F.
Well, I guess banks need to do more than just, increase interest rates or something like that.
I guess so. That's
what I think.
Honestly, yeah, I think Minnesota does win this, adding finally depth, possibly going into a playoff run. I cannot complain, Tito.
You know what, Johansson, think of it, they lost some players because of just trades as well. It helps out players. Caps get a pick. I think it works from both ends. I'll say the Wild as well.
Yeah. Next!
Maple Leafs acquire Eric Gustafsson in a 2023 first-round pick to the Washington Capitals in exchange for Rasmus Sandin. Now, I think some Leafs fans are going to miss for Sandin, but come on. Eric Gustafsson, okay, so you get a little bit of depth there as well. But what's nice is you get that first rounder. I'm going to take the first one. I mean, I know it was Boston's first round pick.
Which doesn't really matter
The first round, to me, says the win.
Yeah, honestly, I think a first round, it's Sundin, it's obviously going to be missed, just as T-Dog mentioned, but a first round pick is still very nice to have, even though it's Boston's for sure. I think Toronto takes this. Next!
Yep. Pierre Engvall goes to the Islanders. In exchange, the Leafs acquire a 2024 third round pick. I think the Islanders win. I mean, Engvall, 2.25 mil per year might look a little much right now, but you wait. Maybe he flourishes under a team that seems to be kind of not even really captain so much, but I mean, it seems like that team has a little bit of new life under Horvat, but I don't know, Islanders are a weird team.
Hey, they're in a wild card right now, so obviously the new additions never hurt, especially with a potential playoff run in the mix, and I think the Islanders still win this because a third round pick is just a third round pick at the end of the day. Next!
All right, Toronto Maple Leafs, they get Luke Schenn back, finally back in a Leafs uniform. In exchange, Vancouver gets a 2023 third round pick. That works out both ways. Shen was going to go out anyways, so you still get a third out of it. I mean, for Canucks, you need picks. I say Canucks one.
Yeah, honestly, oh, wow, that is not what I was expecting. Luke Schenn going to the Leafs actually still doesn't hurt because Kyle Dubas is still realizing that his defense is still a factor, and honestly, more depth never hurts. Honestly, I did think Toronto did win this because a third round pick is still a third round pick. Unless it becomes like an all-star somehow. Next!
That's a good point. Well, Leafs fans, let me know how you think about Justin Hull. Ha ha ha. All right. Predators get AHL or Austin Rushhoff in exchange for future considerations to the Rangers. Well, to the Rangers, though. I mean, that's better. That's better.
Is that better?
Yeah. So okay, I mean, I'd rather be at the Rangers, to be honest. I mean, I guess you get a player. I don't know. It's just AHL stuff.
To be determined. Next.
Blue Jackets get 2023 fifth round pick in exchange for Gustav Nyquist, which is 50% retained, and that was to the Wild. Wild get a little bit of forward depth, whatever. Nyquist has had a bit of a struggle to it, but you know what? He was in Columbus. Let's see if he can get a little bit of momentum going to a team that is fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah, you can never complain as a playoff team, as I am mentioning a lot in this podcast eventually right now, that you need forward depth going into the playoffs. And obviously Minnesota is realizing that without finally retaining a lot of salary. So, honestly, Minnesota wins. It's a fifth round pick. It'll probably become nothing. Next!
All right, I'm going to skip these next two because these are pretty important.
Fair enough.
Colorado Avalanche, they acquire Lars Eller, 31% retained, and in exchange, the Capitals get their 2025 second round pick. I wonder how many picks Avs have now, but Lars Eller retained rate's pretty good too. You know what? They're trying to go back for that Cup glory. You're going to need players that, one, he has some experience there, and get some more depth.
Yeah, honestly, I think Colorado wins this trade. Obviously, depth never hurts, especially with Eller, who has the experience with the Capitals and winning a cup, and you can never complain about that as a playoff team. Next!
All right, Shane Gostisbehere, he goes from Arizona to the Carolina Hurricanes, full contract, and exchange for a 2026 third-round pick. Gostisbehere is going to help out a little more in that blue line there for Carolina, as if they're already not strong, but, Carolina, you're going to look nice for the playoffs.
Very underrated team going in the playoffs for sure is Carolina, especially with these bunch of additions they have added, especially Gostisbehere helping out the D-line, and Jacob Slavin is actually getting a lot of help back there for sure. I think they win this. Next!
Buffalo, 2023 third round pick, and LA gets a AHL or some signing rights to Eric Portillo, so you get a little bit more depth on the prospect pool in there for LA, and you get a pick there. Normal stuff. Pittsburgh Penguins, they get an AHLer and Peter
oh my god,
de Liberatore. I said that incorrectly. And a 2024 third round pick in exchange for Teddy Beluger to the Vegas Knights. Beluger, you know what? I always liked him on Pittsburgh. I think a player like that, to Vegas, I think it's a decent pickup for Vegas.
Decent pickup for Vegas. I think they win this. Obviously, it never hurts with more depth going into playoffs, as I keep mentioning. Next!
All right, so we're going to kind of go back into this player later down the road, but Vladislav Namestnikov, 50% retained, goes to the Sharks in exchange for Michael Esimon for $750K. You know what? Who wins this? Tampa, because Namestnikov is no longer on the Sharks.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, I guess you got it right there, and Yeah, I don't have much to say. Next!
Predators get a 2023 second round pick in exchange for Mikael Granlund, the full $5 million. You know what? I'm gonna say the Preds win this just because that's a lot of money. Mikael Granlund for $5 million now is not looking too nice. And the Penguins this looks like the Penguins really want to show that they can still stay in the playoff race and still be a competitor. They probably want to do that till I'm guessing Crosby and Malkin retire. But you know what? That's a lot of money, and I think you know what? Nashville needs some captain. Also, Nashville wins this.
Honestly, for the last few days, we've obviously seen some GMs take some risk, and this is a big risk from Pittsburgh, especially with that cap hit. But honestly, it is still a great piece for depth in playoffs, anyways. But honestly, Nashville second round pick never hurts. You are in a big retool season. Next.
Yeah, Jakub Voracek goes to the Arizona Coyotes. The full $8.25 million. Man. Dead cap floor, Arizona Coyotes. Let's go. And a 2023 sixth-round pick in exchange for John Gillies. Hey, remember him?
Yep.
Flames
I remember. Yeah, Flames legend.
I mean, I think it works out both ways. In some sense, Columbus probably wins this because they get a goaltender who has the ability to be in a backup position and play a few games. Voracek probably retires next season. But you do get a sixth round out of it. This is kind of what Arizona's been trying to do, right? Yeah. Just get a whole bunch of dead cap and all that, but then just kind of like. Dude, the prospect pool's gonna be crazy.
Dude,
there's no way they can't get at least a few solid players with the amount of prospects they have.
Oh my god,
or draft picks.
Literally, if you guys somehow mess this up, please just don't exist as a franchise anymore. Because yeah, obviously, I'm not gonna lie. I think the Blue Jackets win just because of all the cap they just got rid of in that trade. But obviously, just another player that's going to the graveyard of Arizona Coyotes. Next.
Okay, before we do this, look at these draft picks. You ready for Arizona's draft picks?
Oh yes, I am.
This season. Round 1, they get 2. Round 2, they have 1. Round 3, they have 4. Round 4, they have 1. Round 5, 2. Round 6, 2. 2024, they have 4 second-rounders and 3 third-rounders and 2 fourth-rounders, 2 seventh-rounders. 2025, they have 4 second-rounders and 2 third-rounders. They got a lot of... the only one they don't have is a 7th-rounder in 2023.
That sounds like a rebuild. That sounds like a hard rebuild.
Take notes, Vancouver.
Yep.
So, Nick Bjugstad from the Arizona Coyotes, 50% retained, goes to the Edmonton Oilers in exchange for Michael Kesslering and a 2023 third-round pick. Bjugstad, solid, big body, going to help you on that fourth line there. Edmonton needs some big bodies, especially if they want to make a playoff push. You know what? Oh, and they also get Cam Dineen, an AHLer. But that Bjugstad, I think solid for Edmonton, man. I think that's a good Kenny Money deal.
Yeah, honestly, I think Edmonton does win this trade with Bjugstad because obviously Edmonton has been tearing it up in the Pacific lately, and McDavid is going off the handles this year, as we all see with him over 100 points already in the season. And yeah, just another fourth-line grinder, never hurts. Veteran leadership, can't complain. Next.
Dylan Sekura goes to the Anaheim Ducks in exchange for Maxim Golod. I mean, these are 2 AHLers. You know what? The farm teams are going to be happy. Anton Hudobin, more like Anton Hudobin's salary, goes to the Chicago Blackhawks in a 2025 second-round pick in exchange for Max Domi and Dylan Wells. Honestly, I think no matter what happens, Stars win this. But, dude, if Domi could play like he was playing in Chicago for Dallas, buddy, that's a
great
solid.
third liner to have on this kind of team. Solid. I think Dallas 100% win this because you even saw Max Domi with Chicago this year because they're obviously trying to tank for Bedard, and he was still lining it up with Patrick Kane, which we'll get into talks of later. Yeah. But honestly, more depth, nice third line center for sure for Dallas. Can't complain. Next.
All right, Dylan McLaughlin goes to Detroit, as well as a 2025 7th-round pick in exchange for Jakub Vrana, 50% retained at $2.625 million. Vrana is getting another chance in the NHL, which I think is, that's good for him, so let's see what he can do with it. This one, you know what, I mean, Detroit needed him out, but they still had to retain, so I'll say St. Louis wins just because Detroit still had to retain some to make that trade happen.
Yeah, honestly, I think Jakub Vrana is kind of like, he's been an odd player for the last few seasons in the NHL, and sending him off to St. Louis, just a fresh start again, that never hurts for a player. He could break out, and yeah, I'm going to say St. Louis does win this just out of accountability because St. Louis doesn't have much left anymore since those last few trades. Next!
All right, Curtis Lazar goes to the New Jersey Devils in exchange for a 2024 4th-round pick. Lazar was supposed to be, solid. He had a few good games and looked decent, I would say, with the Canucks being the kind of a bottom six guy, but you know what, Devils, they're going to get a bottom six guy now, and that might help them with their depth, especially in a playoff run.
Welcome to the start of the trade deadline, March 3rd, and we start off with Curtis Lazar. Love to see it. Honestly, New Jersey wins because it's just depth for playoffs, I guess. Next!
All right. LA, Zach McEwen, they get. In exchange, the Flyers get Brendan Lemieux and a 2024 fifth-round pick. You just get a bunch of tough guys trading for each other. I mean, LA wins because they lose a fifth round, but, LA wins because McEwen's cheaper than Lemieux.
Yep.
I don't know. They're both whatever, but I'm just, it'd be cool. I don't know. McEwen is on a Pacific Division team, so great.
Yep. Fun. Honestly, to be determined who really wins this trade. Next!
Nathan Schnarr goes to LA in exchange for Frederick Allard. These are two AHLers, so good for farm teams. Nick Bonino is going back to the Pittsburgh Penguins on a three-way trade, 50% retained. In exchange, Arvid Henriksen gets signing rights to San Jose. They also get a seventh-round pick and a conditional fifth round. Tony Sund gets signing rights as well. Goes to Montreal and 2024 fifth-round pick. I guess Pittsburgh wants to rekindle some 2016-2017 vibes.
Oh my God, they really are in this one.
But you know what? I think the Canadians and the Sharks are going to win over this, in my opinion, just because okay. Bonino's only at $1 million.
Yeah, it's Nick Bonino at $1 million, and that's just veteran depth.
That's true, but you get picks out of it. I don't know. Sure, they win.
Pittsburgh loves this nostalgia even more with Bonino coming back to hopefully win a cup, which probably won't happen. But honestly, I think Pittsburgh wins because, hey, like I could keep saying through this, never hurts to have depth. It never does. Next!
All right, San Jose Sharks, they acquire a 2025 fourth-round pick in exchange for, like I said, coming back to it, Vladislav Nemestikov goes to the Winnipeg Jets, $1.25 million. They'll have to pay for him. You know what? You get a pick out of it, but Nemestikov could be someone that, to keep talking about depth. I mean, that's kind of why you have the trade deadline. But
I can't complain.
You get that for Winnipeg. Let's see if part of these players help the Jets turn around. I mean, I think they just lost tonight. They did 6-3. Yeah, so we'll see when they get.
That's not a pretty start. Ooh, that's not a pretty start at all. But honestly, Winnipeg, I think they still win it because off of a fourth, that's still a nice left winger to have, especially with its still leadership and everything. Not a bad player. Obviously, the decline has happened, but I mean, with Winnipeg's situation, you're just trying to scratch and claw your way into a playoff spot at this point. But next!
All right, Chase Prisky goes to Anaheim in exchange for Austin Strand to the Buffalo Sabres. These are both AHLers. Another AHL trade, Jacob Peterson goes to San Jose in exchange for Dallas. They get Scott Reedy. When I first saw this, I thought it said Jason Robertson. I was really confused. The Calgary Flames, hey, they did some good job tree living. We get Dryden Hunt, an AHLer. It's pretty solid. Apparently, he actually knows Uyghur, so that might help. In exchange, we give them Radim Sahorna. He's a big body guy. I think the Leafs are going to win this right now just because they get a big body guy presence. I don't think, at the end of the day, it's two AHLers. I don't know. Well, nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy to be announced. Next!
Jordan Greenway, he goes to the Buffalo Sabres, all $3 million per year of him in exchange for a second round and a fifth round. You know what? Greenway was going to go anyways. Wild get some picks out of it. Greenway in a change of scenery might be good for him. You get some picks out of it. I think the Wild win this.
Minnesota, what are you doing this season? Because you're bouncing back and forth with picks and players and picks and players and retaining salary.
The reason why, you know what though? Yeah, Greenway was going because they were kind of in cap heck next season because the Parise and Ryan Suter deals, they still have to pay him till I think the next 4 seasons. They go
freaking seasons.
They both go up $1 million plus respectively for the next 2 seasons. Plus,
and they still have to deal with Matt Dumba.
Yeah, and then Kaprizov, right? So you're probably losing Dumba. It's a whole thing. So you get some picks out of it. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I guess Minnesota does win because you get rid of some cap and you're trying to stop cap hell that apparently just sounds like it's coming no matter what. But yeah, I guess you win this. Next!
Patrick Brown goes to the Ottawa Senators in exchange for a 6th-round pick. You know what? Next.
Yep, next!
Detroit Red Wings get a 4th-round pick in exchange for Oscar Sundqvist. You know what? I like Sundqvist. Kind of surprised he actually left. Maybe cap related, but I think Minnesota wins this.
This is such a weird trade deadline. Oh my god! All I'm seeing is AHLers and like some low bottom tiered players so far. Weird trade deadline, but obviously I think Minnesota wins this. Oscar Sundqvist is still a nice acquire for Minnesota. And yeah, I can't complain, especially for just getting him for a fourth. Next!
All right, Brock McGinn, he's going to go to the Anaheim Ducks in a 2024 third-round pick in exchange for Dmitry Kulikov, retained at 50%. Pittsburgh trying to add a little bit more depth again to their defense while trading Brock McGinn. Pittsburgh's kind of weird. I don't know, like, some of these players, they've had some good spurts with the Penguins and not, so we'll kind of see how it goes. But Kulikov, maybe it works for Pittsburgh. We don't know.
Change of scenery never hurts for a player, especially in this scenario. And yeah, I guess Pittsburgh wins because more depth is better, I guess. That's a tough one. But anyways, next!
All right. Gustav Riddell goes to the Avalanche, an AHL player, in exchange for Anton Bede, AHL player. Next one, Rasmus Asplund goes to the Nashville Predators in exchange for a 2025 7th-round pick. Asplund, you know what? There's not much risk there, so I think the Predators win that.
No risk, no reward. Next.
Unless it's a Datsuk that's picked from that guy. Then good for Buffalo. Wyatt Kalynuk goes to the Rangers in exchange for future considerations to the Vancouver Canucks. I'm sorry, Vancouver. Or I'm sorry, future considerations to have to go to the Canucks right now. Yeah.
Winner to be announced. Next.
Another future considerations trade. Now he's going to LA in exchange for Austin Wagner.
Oh my god, stop it. Next.
All right. Now we're 2 more remaining. I'm going to do the Flames one. We'll talk about it later in the next Flames one too. Yeah. But so there's 2 Richies in this. Brett Ritchie and Nick Ritchie. Who's better, Ritchie or Ritchie? I think Ritchie. What do you think?
Honestly, I think it is Ritchie. And honestly, it's kind of funny because this is the first time in trade deadline history where 2 brothers have been traded.
Okay, so it is. I was wondering about that.
That shocked me. But basically, yeah, Brett Ritchie is heading to Arizona with Connor Mackey. And the Flames require Nick Ritchie with Troy Stretcher. So
I'm a little curious to see how Stretcher plays.
Yep.
Who does he play with? I'm gonna guess he's gonna start off with Zadorov.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Sad truth.
Biggest trade we've done. Mackey really wasn't gonna be playing much with us just because I think like Dennis Gilbert's kind of taking that spot as the guy to be called up.
Sutter
or be
did
scratched.
not like him that much anyway. So.
Brett Ritchie, you know what? Like I liked his play though. I thought he was a solid 4th liner. You know
But I think we got the better Ritchie.
Nick Ritchie has a lot of potential too. He is just worth a little more. But to me, the Stetcher thing is the deal that I'm interested about. So let's see if Stetcher does help a little bit. But I mean, I'm glad the Flames didn't do too much, just because I don't really think it's that important right now. You gotta play with this team, see how it goes, and then give it another year. That's
Flames, you won because you're mid and can only get mid players because you're still trying to figure out what you're doing this season and next season. Next!
Yeah. All right, and the last one before we get into the actual big trades.
Yep.
John Klingberg, he is going to go to the Minnesota Wild 50% retained in exchange for Andrei Schuster and Nikita Nesterenko.
Oh my.
Nikita Nesterenko is 125 4th-round pick. The fact that it's retained, though, I mean, you're still paying $3.5 million. You know what? Could be a rental, but you get a little bit more on that thing. Klingberg, though, you lose Dumba, then you could possibly see about keeping Klingberg.
Yeah, honestly.
So that's not bad.
That is not a bad. Honestly, as soon as I saw John Klingberg signing with Anaheim in the offseason, I automatically knew it was trade bait. Like, everyone knew because Anaheim wasn't going to do well this season. And yeah, he finally gets shipped off to a potential contender in the Wild, which obviously this is still a nice defensive piece to have, especially in the Wild's terms. I do think they just win because they cut their salary in half, $3.5 million.
Yeah.
I think they win.
I mean, yeah, he has had a bit of a struggle of a season, but I think the idea of the team he's playing with does have a lot to play with that. So we'll see how he does in Minnesota. So the Devils acquire Scott Harrington, Timo Meyer, 50% retained, so they're only paying $3 million. Zachary Amon, Santeria Hataka, and Tibor Ibragimov and a 2024 5th-round pick in exchange for Andreas Johnson, Fabian Zetterlund, Nikita Otiuk, and Shakir Mukhamadullin. Shakir Muhammadulin, and a 2023 first round conditional pick, a 2024 second round pick, 2024 seventh round pick as well.
That's a lot of conditions.
Ooh, there's a lot of conditions. Okay, so let me try to wrap my head around this. Meyer with this Devils team. Ooh, that's really nice.
I never thought it would be such a good pick for the Devils to take Mienemeyer, but oh my god, that team just looks scary with the top six. Well, like, if you look at it right now with the New Jersey Devils, you still have Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier as your centers, and now look at your wingers now, especially with Tino Meyer there now. Oh, yeah, that looks scary. That looks terrifying.
I think San Jose got enough for what they could get, knowing that Meyer was going to leave no matter what. But just Meyer just makes this Devils forward group just even better. Like, I'm excited to see the Devils play the Rangers in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying.
Honestly, yeah, I think T-Dog is right on the money with that. I think San Jose got the right return for sure. That, honestly, that's the best return you probably could get for Mienemeyer in the situation you are. And the Devils just look terrifying now. But I still think New Jersey did win this trade just because Mienemeyer, with the situation New Jersey's in, especially in playoffs, that team, a young, hungry team like that, I kind of see them as how the Rangers were last year, how hungry they were, and they were still young. But obviously, now the Rangers are the top dog.
Yeah, it's like kind of like that first season where it's like, oh, now they're on the map, right?
Oh, yeah. I think the Rangers this season's like that.
Okay, next one. The Tanner Jeannot trade. This one, okay, the fact that it stunned most GMs because of the return, I agree, but like, let's look at this. So you have Tanner Jeannot. Young, he's a bit of a stud, I think, right? He's tough, man. Like, yep. I mean, he plays playoff hockey. That's his natural style of game. Player that I was hoping, in a sense, I was hoping, like, man, I would love that the Flames could go for him. Thank goodness we didn't, because this is what you'd have to give up for him. So a prospect in Cal Foot, and then a 2025 first round pick, which is conditional, top 10 protected, a second round in 2024, a third round in 2023, a fourth round in 2023, and a fifth round in 2023. So you literally just gave up 5 picks and a prospect for Tanner Jeannot. Like, dude, Nashville won this. Like, Jeannot's a great player and well deserved. But look at the return.
Oh my god! So Tampa basically just gave up a whole draft class, if we're all being honest here, because no one cares about the 6th or the 7th pick. And you know what? If we look at Tanner Jeannot just alone in this scenario, he's 25 years old, so obviously he's still a young player that hasn't hit his prime. For the last 2 seasons in Nashville, he played 81 games and put up 41 points. So obviously he is looking like a 40 to 50 point player this year. And sadly this year, with how Nashville is playing, he played 56 games, only put up 14 points. And honestly, with Tampa's situation still as a win now situation with your core, that player like that to build up in that lineup it could turn into so many things. So like now we look at this, it's Nashville really winning this by a landslide, but we can look at it 3 years and Tanner Jeannot could completely look like a good player on this team.
Who do they pick up with this? I mean, I think Cal Foot as well has some potential as well.
But
you can see how he plays under a system that's like Nashville, who is rebuilding. Mm-hmm. Jeannot, though, I saw a lot of people on Twitter and Instagram saying that Jeannot gives off the Nick Paul vibes. And can you imagine if he turns into like a Nick Paul with this Lightning? Then you just have another player who's just scoring like an extra 10, 20 goals. 10, 15 goals, for your team.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what you need, right, to win Stanley Cup.
But,
right?
However, as I mentioned, it could look good 3 years down the road. I look at it now, and you guys kind of got absolute finessed in this.
Yeah,
because
just
Cal Foot looks like a really promising defenseman that I thought, honestly, could have made the roster in Tampa. But now Nashville has that, a first round, a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth.
I can't believe they got, like, a second, third...
like, wow.
I can see the first, like, I don't know. It stuns me because we'll get into some other trades, like Jacob Chikrin. They got less for Chikrin. I mean, there's other reasons why to that, but it's
Patrick Kane.
It's just crazy.
It's crazy.
Just crazy.
Absolutely crazy. But right now, I think Nashville does win this by a landslide, for sure. Okay.
Let's get into another trade here. So, our Norse nemesis, the Edmonton Oilers, they get Matthias Ekholm, which is 4% retained. What funny. And a 2024 6th-round pick in exchange. Excuse me. Tyson Barrie, Reed Schaefer, an AHLer, Edmonton's first, Edmonton's fourth. So, Oh, the 4th is the 2024. The 1st is the 2023.
Ah.
Okay, so you look at the 2 games that Ekholm has been on that team. Edmonton's dominated. Ekholm looks really solid. And this is just a little tease, a little spice, right? 2 games is nothing compared to a whole season, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. But can Ekholm solve Edmonton's defensive problems? I'm not saying that he completely will, but they look so much more defensively rounded right now because of his style of play being brought onto the team. But at the same time, Preds, I mean, like, you do get some more picks, right? And the Preds need that. But right now, I mean, in an Oilers situation, Ekholm's looking solid. Just solid.
Yeah, I honestly do think the Oilers do win this trade in this scenario because Ekholm is obviously a very solid defenseman, and he's been for the last few years. He's put up almost 30 points a season, and with a plus minus of like in the teens, so like plus minus of 15. And honestly, that's still great to have, especially in Edmonton's case where you want a defenseman that can play the puck both ways, obviously with McDavid. And I really think you did solve a lot of your defensive problems with this. I think Edmonton wins 100%. Yeah. I hate to say it, but they do.
They're really missing Adam Larson. You get a player who's better than Adam Larson.
Yeah.
And the same type of style of play, which is just crazy. So that's honestly great for them.
I really thought they were going for Carlson.
Well, dude, how are you gonna? Because even if you retain 50%, you're still paying like almost $6 million.
Yeah.
Like 11.5 is like.
Well, technically they're paying $6 million for him right now.
Yeah. Well, I guess
they could have done it.
At the end of the day,
especially giving up Tyson Barrie.
At the end of the day, Carlson, I think he's gonna be an off-season acquisition.
Yeah. In 4 years.
We'll see. Okay, the Patrick Kane trade. Let's just get into this.
Oh boy.
Okay, so Rangers. Okay, so I'll start with the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks are gonna get a signing rights to Vili Sahari, and Andy Walensky, a 2023 second-round pick from the Rangers, and a 2025 fourth-round pick to the Rangers. In exchange, the Rangers get Patrick Kane 50% retained, and an AHLer and Cooper Zek, and the Arizona Coyotes back again with their central bank helping out everyone. They're going to retain 50% of that Patrick Kane deal. And as well, they're going to get a conditional 2025 third-round pick from New York. So this whole thing happened. Finally, it did happen and was announced. I'm just saying, Kane looks great in a blue shirt sweater. But,
I mean, he does.
You know what? 1 game, so you can't say anything about it. But
everyone is loving that Panarin and Patrick Kane have finally come back together.
They're top 9.
Look at their top 9 right now. This is absolutely absurd.
They're top 9.
Like, this team... Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Kreider. Zibanejad. Oh, gosh.
Oh, golly. Golly gee
Hold on, let me go to the teams here. I should know. I knew this on the top of my head before we were on this. Okay, sorry. Yeah, of course. I keep forgetting about the Tarasenko trade. Sorry. First line, Kreider, Zibanejad, Tarasenko. Second line, Panarin, Trocheck as your center, Patrick Kane on the right wing, Lafreniere, Kakko, and Hedl. So that's your third line. And your fourth line, Jimmy Vesey, Barclay Goodrow, and Tyler Mott. All right. Can we just talk about...
They're going to the finals?
Dude. First off, look at the right wing depth. Tarasenko, Kane, Kakko, Mott. All right, Kakko, right, might be trade bait come later. But still, right, there's some promise there. Mott's a solid fourth liner, in my opinion. Other left wing. Kreider, Panarin, Lafreniere, and Vesey. Their centers are Hedl, Trocheck, Zibanejad, and Barclay Goodrow. And Goodrow, remember how well of a role he played in the Tampa series.
Oh, yeah.
Or Tampa when they won against Dallas. And then look at their defense. Nico Mikkola, Adam Fox, right? Mikkola's even regaining some of his career a little bit. Trouba and Ben Harper, Braden Schneider. I guess no extra D on there because I think they're rolling with 13 forwards. But that this is what I'm going to say about them winning the Cup. As long as everyone stays healthy and Shesterkin goes to what he was last year, oh yeah, there's no doubt that they could run it up and do some crazy performance.
Honestly, if there was anyone to like declare the winner of the trade deadline, I think it is New York. And they didn't even do anything during the trade deadline because they're like, nope, we already did everything 3 days before. We're not touching a thing. Yeah. Well, honestly, yeah, like. New York wins the trade here.
Well, yeah, the thing too with Chicago, right, is the thing was the Rangers he only wanted to go to New York, and the Rangers specifically, and the team knew that. So the Blackhawks, for what they got out of him, is still okay. But dude, they could have.
It's not worth Patrick
honestly,
Kane.
if Kane didn't come out and said they didn't want to just play for the Rangers, they probably would have got. They would have gotten first. They probably would have got multiple first and multiple seconds, I think. But
Yeah, for sure.
you know what? You got what you can get. But yeah, Rangers do win this. I mean, get that playoff experience too. Oh goodness gracious! I'm excited for the playoffs. All right, like this Rangers, this Blue Shirts team could really make a splash. But at the same time, you set up a little too much. Sometimes it doesn't work out. That chemistry needs to be there. So we'll see. Only one game with Kane, but you keep playing. Just wait till he gets his first goal at the Garden.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna see how solid this team is.
Honestly, facts.
Okay.
Oh, this trade's fun. This is such a funny trade.
Man.
Okay, go. You gotta go. Go. This is so funny.
So, in the comment section, how do you guys feel about Jonathan Quick getting... I don't know if it's screwed over. I mean, it's a fair trade. It's a good trade in general, but morale-wise, how do you feel about Quick getting traded? So, LA has goaltending problems. There's no doubt about it. Jonas Korpisalo has had a solid season with being on a bad team. A 913 save percentage with a team like Columbus. Pretty good. Korpisalo and Vladislav Gavrikov, a defenseman who's been wanting to get out too, goes to the LA Kings in exchange for Jonathan Quick, a first-round pick, conditional, and a third round. For LA, this works out really well. Columbus, now the whole thing about this is Quick, I don't think even knew until he was on the plane ride back or something. So, like, you know, it's a good trade, but at the end of the day, yeah, morally, like, I can see why. Eventually, he asked for a trade to another team, which, let me just get the full thing. He went to Vegas. Now, let me find the okay. Quick goes to Vegas, 50% retained. Michael Hutchinson goes back to Columbus, and a 2025 7th-round pick. So Columbus gets, I guess, a little extra out of that whole trade in general.
Just a little extra.
I do feel bad for Quick. I mean, he's had a tough season. It's true. But fire like this, man, could light him, man. Could light him. So...
This is kind of those, like, destiny stories for a goaltender where you get switched kind of to multiple teams and you're kind of stuck, right? Because obviously Jonathan Quick kind of had a rusty start of a season, mid-season with the Kings. And obviously he wasn't expecting probably getting traded to Columbus. And he probably obviously didn't like it, which is why Vegas equipped him. And now looking at Vegas with Logan Thompson still injured, sadly, now you have Quick right behind him when he comes back healthy. And you already look at how Now you already look at how Vegas is without him. Now with him, oh God, the Pacific, that team in the Pacific looks scary. Especially if Quick can come back to like form. Oh, that's scary, man. That is terrifying.
Vegas does need something like that, especially with their goaltending to
he pulls
really
a flurry.
Factor. It could happen, right?
It could.
But yeah, I have something I didn't expect, and I do somewhat feel bad for Quick. By the end of the day, I guess it's the business. But we'll see. Quick could straight up have he could have a solid goals against at the end of the season.
Oh, let's be honest. He was hating his life for 4 days, and then he got traded to Vegas, and now he's chilling in the sun again.
Right back in the
because no one likes Ohio, right? Johnny Hockey?
Yeah, I know. Apparently not.
Apparently not. Anyways, what's next?
Okay, so let's talk about this Roenick trade. I don't understand it. The reason why, let me get into this. Okay, Canucks, they give up the Bo Horvat 2023 first round pick, and their second round pick in exchange for Philip Roenick and a 2023 fourth round pick. You know, Roenick is a good, solid defenseman. I like it, but aren't you trying to rebuild? Or this to me looks like you're trying to retool. And this is the similar thing with why Miller hasn't been traded yet and things like that. Like, you don't want picks, but you're gonna I'm confused. Vancouver, if I'm you, and when you talk about how the only untouchables that you have is Pettersson, Hughes, and then I think Kuzmenko. Yeah. Pettersson, Hughes, Kuzmenko. So you have 3. That sounds like a rebuild. But then there's rumors saying that you don't want your picks, and then you trade your picks for some extra players. Like, I'm confused. Because I'm not a Canucks fan, but I agree with most Canucks fans. Start rebuilding. The team that has been positioned is really poor right now. Your retool is just going to do the same thing. If you retool this, Alvin and Rutherford, you're going to have the same results as what's happened right now. You're going to look solid, look pretty decent, win a round or 2 for one season, and then you're going to just do the whole hype train like, look at us. We're back to it. All right, and you're going to sign your players, and then it's just not going to work out. And you're going to do the same cycle. That's what I think. Keep your picks. That's what I think.
Honestly, no one was expecting this from Vancouver. You gotta love that boys club, eh? Especially in Vancouver right now, everyone's just kind of wanting to shoot themselves. But honestly,
oh yeah,
when you look at Filip Hronek this season, he obviously is 25 years old. He hasn't hit his prime. This season, he has hit his career high in points. He's actually tied from last year with. So this year, he's played 60 games and put up 38 points. Last season he played 78 games and put up 38 points. So he's probably going to be this is going to be his career high season.
Pretty solid numbers.
That is pretty solid. So honestly, if you look at what he could be, sure, you potentially could win this, but how you were basically showing us all season that you wanted to rebuild, you gave up Bo Horvat, you kind of really literally stated to the whole hockey world that you wanted to rebuild, protecting only these three, and then you do this. Cut the bullshit. What are you actually doing, Vancouver? Yeah, that is dumb. That is a dumb move.
I just don't see how a player like him can really fit in their plans.
Yeah, but honestly,
I don't know what they're doing. Maybe Vancouver is just a money laundering scheme at this point.
It's a weird trade. It's a weird trade, but Detroit wins.
Hronek, I mean, hey, it works. Hronek's a great player. I'm nothing against him, but I just think Hronek would be more valuable to a team that's actually trying to win.
Yeah.
Or, you know what, upgrade their defense, who's not trying to rebuild. I'm confused.
Next!
In the comments, are they retooling, rebuilding, or what? I don't even know anymore.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Ottawa.
So, Ottawa. It's a good trade, man.
It is a good trade. I love this trade.
It's a solid trade. It's one of the best ones in here.
Okay,
man.
give him what you
Jacob Chychrun going to the Senators, the full $4.6 million a year, and exchange a conditional first-round pick 2023 to the Arizona Coyotes, as well as a second-round pick or 2 second-round picks 2024 and 2026. Okay, so again, that Geno trade. Right, you don't even get that much right from this, but this is what happens when you lay it out. The Chychrun was supposed to go to the Kings earlier this season, but it fell through, and apparently this happened multiple times. Like all these, they waited out because they thought that they could get more value for Chychrun, and the end of it, you couldn't, and you got greedy. And look, Ottawa won this, man.
Ottawa 100% won this because, I love how T-Dog, I think it was 2 episodes ago, he was, mad. He's heard about Chychrun for the last 2 years, and he was absolutely done with hearing about him. Yeah. Just get him traded already, right? Yeah. And then finally he gets traded to probably one of the best places he could have gone is Ottawa, because you look at Ottawa, they did so well in free agency, and obviously everyone was like, oh, they're making playoffs. They're doing better than Boston and everything like that. But honestly, I wasn't expecting this, but this is a good place to go for Chychrun because, your team looks scary going into at least next year. And they're pulling back up to a wild card spot. They actually are slow. They're slowly pulling back up. But honestly, good trade. Arizona did kind of get greedy with it. First and 2 seconds, you still can't complain, but honestly, you would think you want more, right? Obviously, but Ottawa doesn't.
Yeah, 100%.
Ottawa 100% win. Yeah.
Okay, so
what do we got next?
I don't know why, but I'm just thinking about Ottawa's cup run with this defense. Hear me out. No, listen, I just think that I don't know. I think it's just the Senators were so known for how well they played defensively in that year when they went to the final. No, I'm not saying at all the Senators are making the cup finals. I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs in all honesty now, but what I'm trying to get at, it's
they're reforming it. Yeah,
reforming it where it's man, if I'm a Sens fan, I'm getting excited for the Sens team, right? There's some young bucks, right? I mean, Brady Tkachuk at the helm there as the captain. I mean, I like it. I do like it.
Really
It's a solid trade, man, and it seems like it's working for him. I read something. I guess his grandfather lives in Ottawa, so, he's right by family, too. It's really good. He seemed to be really happy as well to go to a place like Ottawa, which is great because, you know what? Things are looking up in Ottawa, and it's deserved. They really deserve it, so.
Honestly, the first-round pick of this year that Ottawa gave Arizona is still top 5 protected, so even if Ottawa doesn't make it and somehow they win the lottery, it goes back to them, and they still get Bedard somehow. That... It's such a good trade for Ottawa in the sense of you already went crazy in free agency, and now You're building up to what could potentially become one of the deadliest teams next season. Potentially. But honestly, love to see it. Next.
So, Tyler Bertuzzi, 50% retained. He's going to go to Boston. Oh, great.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Boston. In exchange for a 2024 first-round pick and a 2025 fourth-round pick to Detroit. Okay, so Larkin signs this 8-year, $8.5 million deal, which I think is pretty solid, by the way. But he loses his best friend, as he was saying. He was crying in his press conference because Bertuzzi's his best friend, right? So that might affect a little bit. But I'm just saying, Bertuzzi has had a tough season. I think only 4 goals or something, if I'm correct. You can quote me on that. Don't quote me on that, so you can check it, fact check.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah,
okay,
goals,
go. Yeah, 4 goals.
Hearing that. Right, but a change of scenery might also help. But look at the season he had before, though, the last season, right?
Oh, yeah.
Bertuzzi again. Now you have Boston just stacking up on depth on the forward lines and the defense, and Boston is all in, man. They are all in.
All in.
All in.
Oh my God, they look terrifying.
But you get a first round, which was really good. Yeah, Boston, man. I'm just.
Okay, you know what? Actually, I did want to mention this. So, obviously, I've seen a few videos of this, and it was Brad Marchand and Tyler Bertuzzi scrapping in a Boston versus Detroit game earlier this season. And you know what? You know how Brad Marchand must feel in the locker room? He's taping a stick, and then he just looks up, and he sees Tyler Bertuzzi walk in the room, and he's just like, what the?
Yeah, he just...
What? You traded for him? Okay. Yeah, but honestly, you look at Boston. They're one of the deadliest teams, and they're just keep adding. And it is absolutely terrifying of what this team is doing.
Let's look at this team right now.
Yeah.
Marchand, Bergeron, DeBrusk, Zacha, Krejci, Pasternak, AJ Greer, Charlie Coyle, Trent Frederick, Jacob Lauko, Thomas Nosek, Garnett Hathaway, and then you add him into it. You add Bertuzzi into it. Where would you put Bertuzzi? Third line, maybe? Defense, Hampus Lindholm, Charlie McAvoy, Orlov, Carlo, Grzelcyk, Connor Clifton. That's such a solid defense pairing. And then Allmark, who's the best goaltender right now.
Yeah.
Every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
Just remember, Taylor Hall is injured. Nick Foligno is injured.
That's a lot of cap space.
So, they're going to be out till playoffs. What happens when the playoffs come back and, say, Hall comes back?
And Krejci comes back.
Krejci's fine right now. It's
Foligno. Sorry.
So,
whoops.
Right, you add Hall to this too, right? What if instead your third line is now Charlie Coyle, Taylor Hall, and Bertuzzi?
Oh my God, this team is...
So, playoff-wise, this is what it could be. Jake DeBrusk, Bergeron, Marchand, Pavel Zacha, Krejci, Pasternak, Charlie Coyle, Taylor Hall, Bertuzzi. Then your fourth line would literally be Trent Frederick, Thomas Nosek, Garnett Hathaway. Your fourth line is literally just a bunch of Broad Street bullies.
Oh my God.
Dude, that's actually crazy.
Did you also hear...
They're literally built. God sent goaltending this year. Depth of defense... top 6 that can put the puck in the net, and a bottom 6 that can chip that puck out, play a two-way game, and can fight.
Oh my God.
They're literally built for it for a cup. They're literally textbook built to win a cup.
Did you know that the history books even prove this? That they are the fastest team to get to 100 points by 41 games.
They're just so good this year. I mean, that Boston or the Flames game. When they played the Flames.
You know what? I'm not willing to talk about that until Flames talk. Nope, I can't. I can't.
It's the Flames, right? We lost in a Flames way, but it's I feel like the only way we lost is because it's the Bruins are in some magical thing where everything's going their way, and it seems like that's how it works in sports and hockey specifically.
That game.
If you have a season where things go your way, it all does, and it's working for Boston. Boston just looks they're so textbook ready. No, all I gotta say is. Stay healthy. That's it. But yeah, they look really good.
Stay healthy, but at the end of the day, I do think Boston wins this because that's just insane how your top 9 looks incredibly just out of this worldly good. Just that good.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff, hey. Who do you think wins this trip? I have a few on my list here, but who do you think are winners?
Winners of the deadline?
Yeah, the winners of the
so
deadline,
honestly, if I had to like sum it up pretty quick of who truly won the deadline, obviously Boston's up there. You look at the Rangers in this sense. If you're a rebuilding team, you look at Nashville for sure as a winner.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Like they're a winner in just the case of rebuilding because oh my god, they literally got a whole draft class from Tampa.
Let me look at their drafts.
Oh my god,
Their
yeah,
picks
I'm
today.
so curious.
Yeah, so you just keep talking.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Rangers are a huge winner because that in top 6 upgrade is absolutely insane to add for a playoff race. I think that's my winners. I don't.
Pretty much.
I guess Ottawa for one reason, one only reason, and it's Chikrin. That's
Okay.
really all I got.
This
Go ahead.
might work out really well for Nashville. You in the 2023 draft class. Remember, this draft class is supposed to be phenomenal, right? This draft class is supposed to be what, like 2000?
2003?
The really good years or whatever. Yeah, 2003.
Yep, 2003.
Like off year. I can't remember, but I wasn't on. Anyways, 2023. They have 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders, 3 third rounds, 3 fourth rounds, 2 fifth rounds, 1 sixth round. I think they did that right. I mean, right? Anything is possible,
disgusting.
but like, as long as you have some good scouts, and your scouts are picking up some good players. I mean, come on, like, there's a good chance that like you're gonna get a solid guy in the first round, and heck, maybe because of how many picks you have in the third, fourth, maybe you get a steal, right? A stud, right, in the 4th round, who just comes out of nowhere, right?
Nashville took so much like opportunity at just taking a quick few years to just rebuild it because obviously they were slouching down because of like obviously they made playoffs for the last 3 years and it just wasn't working enough. They couldn't go deep enough like they did against Pittsburgh in the finals. But this is unbelievably one of the biggest winners in my opinion.
I am
of
glad
the trade.
that you said Nashville. To be honest, I didn't even think about picking Nashville as a winner, but
I 100%
I
did.
agree with this, man. That's awesome. Like,
I love that.
that's that's solid for them, and I love the way that they're just retooling. They're doing it quick. They're like, it's like ripping a Band-Aid off. You notice that where it's like they're doing it. They're getting rid of everyone, and they don't want to wait it out. And I think that's the best way to do it because it's gonna be painful for the next year, 2, 3, maybe 4, even 5. But it's very possible that after 5 years, I mean, and you pick well enough, and your prospect pool's solid enough. Oh my gosh, Nashville could come out of nowhere. And they do have UC Soros, right? So
yeah, for sure.
Okay, my winners.
Who's your winners?
Okay, I had the Devils for one.
What? Yeah.
To me, and it's just because of the Meyer trade. I think that Meyer trade really does set them apart. Oh my gosh, I love it. That Meyer trade might make that Rangers Devils series, which I'm pretty sure is going to happen.
Bringing back the old rivalries. I love it.
It could be a heavy 6-7 gamer. Rangers can be a winner, and the Kane deal as well. I think just because they are in a win-now situation, you have to be. And like I saw, their top 9 is now, right? So it's like that's all pretty good. So they look pretty good. Again, Shesterkin got to stay healthy and got to keep playing consistent. Bruins win because look at Orlov already. And now they Oh, sorry. Let me restart this. I just completely went brain dead.
It's all good.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
All right. And I also said the Bruins, okay? So, one, because look at Orlov already. 7 points in however many games he's played right now. Already solid. And they're talking about textbook Stanley Cup type of team. They're getting everything. And th're adding more with Bertuzzi and all that stuff. Garnet Hathaway is also a great pickup. So, I think that as well. And I put the Leafs. Let me explain why I put the Leafs.
That's fair.
You get Noah Charlie. You get Noah Acciari as a bottom forward, a bottom 6 forward. You get Ryan O'Reilly as your third. Ryan O'Reilly is a third center now. That's pretty crazy. That's a pretty darn good center.
That's pretty good.
Then you get another extra depth forward in Sam Lafferty and a defenseman in Jake McCabe. This is the year to go in. You have to, because next year, Austin Matthews is going to, start his trade talks, and then the year after, or signing talks, and then the year after, then he can go as a UFA.
Yeah.
You have to win now. I think this is Dubas' last stand, whatever happens, and you have to make sure, because you're going to have to play the Lightning. You're going to have to do something. So they're going balls deep, go out. I respect Dubas for this. I've said it again. I'm going to keep saying it again because I said this last year. If it's the year for the Leafs to do something and go past the first round, this is the year to do it.
Honestly, yes.
It's the year to do it. And
it's the year that
I respect for what they did, so I think they're winners. And that's who I have.
Honestly, yeah, and that has been the trade deadline and trades of the NHL season. I hope you guys do enjoy. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and a comment, and please subscribe. We're over 200, and I would love to get us higher and higher every day. So thank you very much for that. And T-Dog, take her away.
All right, like B-Dog said, thank you guys very much for listening, watching, however you are consuming this content. If you liked it, smash the thumbs up. Comment down below. Comment of the day: who won the trade, or who won the trade deadline? Who lost the trade deadline? I'll also mention too, losers. I don't think there's too many losers. Not because some didn't do much. I think Seattle's a loser just because I think Seattle could have added a few more. But you know what? No, Tampa's a loser for all that, for losing all that.
Tampa is a
loser. That's what I think. Anyways, guys, keep on rocking in the free world. We're getting close to playoffs. 6 more weeks.
Let's go.
You know what? We'll come back here with a Flames talk and some more NHL talk because hey, the playoffs are getting close. So keep on a lookout for that, guys. And yeah, take care. Let's go.
See you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.